Hi guys, welcome to the channel. So today we're going to be fitting another EV charger. We're going to be fitting it here to the front of the property, and it is going to be quite a nice straightforward job, fingers crossed. Now I've said it, it's bound to rain and all the rest of it. The clouds are looking pretty dark, but hopefully we can be all good. So we're going to be using a tethered unit, also going to be using Doncaster cable, Ultra EV, the premium company for your cable. The other thing that we're going to be fitting as well is a small EV consumer unit made by Fusebox, which is specifically designed for EV installations, and we'll rattle through a little bit of that as we're going. So let's start by getting this EV charger mounted to the wall. Time to get myself all set up, get the kit out of the van. Now don't judge me, I'm busy. This is, believe it or not, is actually quite tidy as a van for me. So the spit nailer's coming with me because it is an absolute weapon of choice, which is what you'll see a bit later on. Now the BotSmart racking system does limit the amount of trips I need to make to the van. Keeping the tools safe is an absolute priority, especially on a job with a driveway this long, because you never know. Keeping your tools locked away at all times is essential. Like I say, this is a massive drive with a huge trek from one end to the other. Unfortunately, I couldn't park any closer due to the client's cars, but it is what it is. Before we go any further, I'd like to thank the customer for their hospitality. Second a walk in. You want a brew? Yes, I do. Thank you. So with the unboxing of the Zappi, as usual, I think, I'm going to move my tea because I think it's going to get broken. I am drinking it. It's not going to go to waste. The Zappi. It is probably the most fitted charger for me going, in all honesty. Now, I do really like it. We've gone for the black because that is my preferred one and also the client's preferred one. In fairness, so what you get in your box is you'll have your CT clamp, which we'll come to that a bit later on. I'll go through all that. So that is what you get. That is what you get. Bag of fixings, said EV charger. And don't do what I did first time I come to fit one of those. I forgot to fit that first, and that was a bit of a snafu on my part. So basically what that is, just in case you don't know what it is your cable retention sort of clip. So what I'm going to do is fit that first. I do that every single time without fail because I'm an idiot. And if I didn't do it now, I'm mounted up on the wall and I go, oh, what am I doing? Mike, you're such a donut. In the box you will get, I'll bring you in. So inside there you'll have all the fixings you need. Also these washers. So these washers have got a rubber gasket on them. Make sure you use it because it is not part of the warranty. If it is leaking from there because you've been an idiot and you've not used the appropriate tool, silicone is not required. All right? It's not required. Don't do it. So me personally, I like to get all the washers and screws in place straight away. Get that sorted. And now, finally, I can now fit this. While I'm fitting this, I just want to talk to you about today's sponsor, which is Tradeify. So Tradeify is a job management software that we use to run the entire business. Now, without that, we would be completely lost, especially on a job like this. Tradeify helps us with the invoicing, quoting, and day-to-day job management. Once this job is complete, it is literally 2 clicks, and I have now converted the quote straight into an invoice and sent it. Choose, like we did, the 14-day free trial and promo code GHawk30 for 30% off for the first 3 months. Okay, that being said, that is done. So now, flip her over. And if you're wondering why I'm doing this last one by hand, it's because it's not deep enough. That's all on the old drill. Okay, so make sure that when you remove this, you're not too heavy-handed with that, and put that to one side for safekeeping. So for me, pop her under the bench. Also remove that. Don't eat this. It clearly says on it it's a silicone. All right, just keep it dry. Inside here, you've got some mounting points. One here. There's loads of points in fairness, and they've got rubber bungs in them. So I generally do the 3 So take those bungs out, that one to poke from the back. With this, I'm going to show you a little trick. 2 seconds. Okay, I'm back. So, get yourself a zip tie and a rubble sack, a clean rubble sack. Come on. Pop that in there. Zip tie that up. It's all going to make sense in a minute. So, in there. So when you're fixing this on the wall, come on, like this, on there. Now, you don't want all the dust going all over your brand new lead, which then leads on for you. Leads on? I like that, do you? Which means another job for you to do a massive clean-up job. So as it stands right now, I've got a little bit to clean, and not much. So there you go, you can have that one for free. Oh, actually, saying that, you can't have it for free. Make sure, if you like that little tip, make sure you subscribe. The link is in the corner, and turn your notifications on, and we can all move on with the video. All right, hang on. No. Make sure you do that right now. Go on. Go on. I'll wait. Thank you. Don't mess around, all right? Don't mess around. I want to make sure that I've got enough room round to sort that out, and so I think that's going to be my sort of finished height. We're going to get the level out, we're going to mark it up. So you might see on here, there is 3 green dots. 1, 2, 3. No, I have not got a sniper on me. That is aiming. There's 3 snipers aiming to take me out, which I know some of you might want. I know, but it's not happening. All right, it's a marksman. This has had the insulating cladding put on it. Which might mean there might be a little bit trickier to get a decent fix in. So what I'm going to do, once we finish this, perfect. What I think I'm going to do, I'm going to use some of these. So the metal fixings from Fisher. So I think that's the way I'm going to go. So if I remember rightly, when I've fixed onto this stuff before, I've had to use these to get a decent edge. Because obviously it's just insulation. So wish me luck. As you can see, that is probably the best way of doing it, which does lead me on to the cables coming down, which are going to change my mind for the way the installation is going to go, but you'll see.
Now we're coming to fit the actual charger to the wall. Now what I always do is put the 3 screws in very, very loosely at first. This way is better for alignment, and also then once you've got all the screws in, you can then proceed to actually tighten them up, making sure you don't over tighten, especially on this insulated wall.
So now I'm going to get the stuffing gland drilled in, get that mounted up. So the plan is for the cable to come down here and sit underneath this lip. Okay, so this lip at the bottom, what I'm going to try and do is get the cable to run underneath this lip here, tuck behind that gate post there, and then so just around about here. So we're going to come down there, and then around here somewhere is the actual consumer unit. Might be, in saying that, I think it's past here actually. So I'm going to get the consumer unit mounted on the inside and split the tails in there, but I think that's probably going to be the best bet, going down there and then tuck behind.
Time to drill out for the stuffing gland. So we use these bits because they are super safe. They've got a feature in them so you can't push the drill bit all the way through and potentially cause any damage. So we've put a level down from that stuffing gland, and now we're going to be fitting the fixings ready for the clips. Fitting this bottom clip, as you've just seen right now, it does wiggle about, it goes a little bit mad, but it will bite and it will fix. These clips that we're just going to fit now are what I prefer to use when fitting EV chargers. They give the install a nice clean look and just wraps around the cable alone.
So one of the things about being an electrician is the dangers they warn you in the college about electrocution. What they don't warn you about is brambles that's attached to you when you're doing jobs. Stay safe, kids, stay safe. Right, what I'm about to show you might shock you, so please don't judge me, and you know, it is what it is, all right? Don't judge. We're not all the same. Not everyone can do it. I'm going to use this. Not really. We use it all the time. We are just that sort of person, you know. It's a myth that Sparkies don't clean up. It's a myth. Look, there's rubbish in there. And I've cleaned it up. All right. Sorry for ruining the illusion. Right, so we have now drilled through our pilot drill. This is the world's most annoying gate that keeps swinging, but whatever. So I've drilled through. The pilot hole is literally here, so in between those 2 reference points, which is fantastic. Something's just dropped on my head. It's that water I feel. Anyway, so we're now going to run my clips all the way back through. It is, of course, it's raining. Why wouldn't it be? Right, anyway, going to get the old cable put back round. So what I'm going to do is going to work from the Zappi end back to here and into the board. Leave me loads of excess. And yeah, looks like this is going to be fun, and it might have to get the brolly out.
Now's the time to get the cable installed into the Zappi. So we're going to take the outer sheathing off, which is nice and straightforward, slice down and get the inner cores all exposed. Nice thing about this Doncaster cable is how malleable it actually is. Now this is a really cold day and it has no effect on the actual cable performance. So we're now going to put it through the stuffing gland and make sure it's nice and neat. So we're going to clip up the top clip just so it's all in place. They're nice and simple, and as you'll see, they're a nice neat finish. At this point, we never do the final connections because we need to do all our dead tests. We just curl them up like this.
Right, so I suppose I better talk to you about the fixing method. So this is the Pulsar Spit Nailer 27E. Now the 27, I believe, is the maximum length of nails, like the fixings that you can use. So what they fire in is those. So they do various different ones for different applications on different substrates. Check me out. So what we're then going to be using is these D-line clips, as I've just said a minute ago. There is benefits for these. Now obviously by doing it this way it's faster. Yes, if I wasn't filming it would be faster and I'd be on to my other job, which I need to be at, but still, this is for you. Sacrifices I make. With using this, there's minimal dust and breakout as well. So when you're drilling, so you got to think you're drilling, you're plugging, you're screwing, and then clearing up more. Now obviously when doing this, you don't have any of that. You've just got fix, fix, fix. Now it's not perfect, and it's not something, certainly not sponsored by them whatsoever. But 80% of the time, I'm going to say, it's actually so much quicker for the applications that I'm using right now. Now sometimes you just can't get a fix in, and it is what it is, and you have to, just because of the substrate itself, so you have to go back to traditional methods, and that's okay, that's all right, you know, but 80% of the time it works every time. The other thing, it is really important to note that you've got ear protection on, because obviously it's an explosion. It's the same as a nail gun essentially, but this is for masonry. And that you make sure that you wear safety glasses, because you're firing into bricks, especially on this. These are solid engineers. They will splinter at high velocity pieces of the brickwork, and trust me, because I've had it done before, trying to scrape a little bit of brick out of your eye down at A&E. I'm going to tell you how they do it. They used, unless they just did it on me, I don't know, but either way, they used the tip of a syringe to try and scrape that out. Now, just bear that in mind, whether you think that is worthwhile putting on for 2 seconds, or if you are that sort of sadistic weirdo and you like that, then good for you.
Time to load up the gun and get some of these fixings put on. Using the Spit Nailer makes a massive difference and really does speed up the job. Now it's just a case of folding over the clips and making the cable nice and secure. One last clip now just needs to be secured and the job's done.
We've now got the cable back into the house, which is spot on. Don't need these on now, I'll be okay. So what I'd like to do is keep a bit of excess in here. Now, because it is a multi-strand cable, you're going to need to put ferrules on. For those of you who don't know what ferrules are, it's those. So it's basically bootlace ferrules that we put on to make sure that the multi-strand cable is all nice and tight and we have a good connection. So what I'm now going to do is get my CT clamp in. So inside here, so obviously for my network, there's going to be, these cutters are massively excessive for that, but so inside we've got 2 cores, okay? So all these are essentially signal wires. Now, there, next door's being mowed over. So there is a plus and a minus, so make sure you match up the opposite end, which I'll show you later on. What feels natural to me is if I keep the plus as red, which would make more sense, wouldn't it? And then that way, we're all good to go. So that's in. Now, the good thing about Zappi is that if you had a ground source heating, you had solar power, things like that, you can add more CT clamps. But for this installation, we haven't got that. I'm not even talking properly, but anyway, this installation, I haven't got any of that, none of that. So what we're going to be doing is setting this to the master, which I'll show you that a little bit later on once we energize it. So let's get that board out of the box and let's have a look and see what the crack is with that. Right, so this is the Fusebox EV board. Now, it's specifically designed for EV installations, funnily enough, isn't it? That's quite funny that that is the case. Now, in here you've got SPD, main switch, 32 amp MCB, which controls the SPD. There's lots of things going on there. We've also got a 32 amp RCBO. Now this will be the mini one because it's a double pole type A, which is what you need installation, and obviously you got a blank there as well. All right, so if you do want to put something else in there, you can do it. All right, you want to put a cheeky little radial in or whatever, fill your boots. What I'm going to do in this installation is we're going to be coming in bottom entry for both. So we're going to be coming in for the EV and we're going to be coming in for the meter tails, okay? So we're going to split the tails inside the house. I'll have to install it and then quickly whip you through that because the client's working at home and obviously I can't disturb him too much. So let's have a closer look on the inside of that unit.
So here we go, let's lift the lid. So inside the lid, what I tend to do is try and completely strip it, especially when I'm coming to drill straight through. Now we're going to do some knockouts which are pre-cast as such, which is what we're going to use that old screwdriver for now. Boom, there she goes. So next thing is getting on to actually doing the drill out for my stuffing gland. And there we have it. Now we're onto the rebuild and we're going to get our meter tails in and earthing straight away sorted. I'd like to point out that all of the terminals will be torqued up once the installation is complete.
Now, obviously it's not ideal. I normally would be doing this on the inside of the house when the board is fixed down and all the rest of it, but obviously, like I said, clients are working from home, so I wanted to show you as much of the install as possible on here. So now I'm going to get the EV charger, EV Ultra, sorry, in here, tucked up the back, and then we're going to be into here, and also I then need to sort out for the CT clamps. So let's just quickly whip over the CT clamp. So the CT clamp, what you'll have on here, so there is a directional CT clamp, okay? So one side is got to go for the house, so that is for pointing the direction of the energy going into the house, so that is the way you'd put that on. It's very important that you make sure that is the right way, and it's got to be on, the clamp has got to be, sorry, on the whole installation, not just this. So do not just put it onto here because that is not measuring the entire installation. It's got to be the entire installation, not just the EV charger that you've installed. Right, here she is, the finished article. So these all come preset at 60 amps for your incoming supply. So we've sorted all that out. I'll quickly whip you inside so you can have a look at the install in there briefly, but obviously the clients are working and all the rest of it, so I have to be quiet. So we're now currently charging the client's new car, which I will turn around and show you in a second. So we're now currently charging at 7 kilowatts, which is absolutely dreamy because the client has told me in this local area it is very, very hard to find a charger that's working at any particular time. There's only one that he knows of that's working. So my R1 plus R2 test is 0.18, so that is the resistance between here and the consumer unit. Installation resistance is 999, which is perfect. RCD tripping times. Now obviously you've got to use the appropriate tester with obviously EV capabilities. It's 37.7 and this has given me a ZS reading of 0.5, so we're absolutely flying on this. Nice lovely install, nice and quick and simple, and yeah, it's a nice job. So I'm going to quickly show you inside and take you through that install. So I thought I'd quickly go through, so obviously with the testing side of things. Now you need to make sure that you have got a EV adapter. So what this basically does is replicate having a car in use. So obviously you've got various different states that it does it on, obviously what ampage your EV charger is. Generally they're on 32s. So yeah, it's a really good bit of kit, and obviously there's various different makes and all the rest of it, but the Q-Tech's the one that I've got right now. So the Kia itself is all charging now, and in fairness to the customer, he's actually said this is charging quicker now than what he has been getting elsewhere, which is a massive win. So what we've got is this fuse box board that is in. We've got this SPD main switch, SPD, MCB and the RCBO, which is all tested out fantastic, all labelled up and ready to go. So we've split the tails here like so, and just down there is my CT clamp. So all left for me to do is get this back in the van and get out of here. Right, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video, and if you have and you haven't yet subscribed, make sure you do so. Link is in one of the bottom corners. Make sure you turn that on, and yeah, see you on the next one.